And we're live. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Mojo Show, your real estate podcast, where we talk about everything real estate. I'm your host, Joe Mortgage.
And I'm Cup of Joe Mortgage.
And
Sorry
this
about
week's
the voice
episode,
cracking there.
Wow. What happened?
I don't know. Sorry about that, Joe. It threw you off, but go back. I'm Cup of Joe Mortgage.
Need some coffee or tea to loosen up that throat?
I guess. I'll do that while you're talking.
Okay. All right. Well, this week's episode, we are continuing our 6-part series on PAPCAR. PAPCAR is an awesome tool that has helped thousands of realtors and loan officers. Basically, anyone really. I know we had talked about it last week because this is the second part of the 6-part series on PAPCAR, but we had discussed as far as this could actually really be used in any industry that you are in sales. I don't care if you're in insurance or whatever. This tool and these techniques can definitely be used to really help grow your business in 2024. So super excited about this week's episode as we continue on and get to the second step of PAPCAR. Joe, what do you like about PAPCAR so much?
Well, first, we already have our first comment of the day. Jennifer Buchanan.
Jennifer.
So thank you, Jen, for tuning in. I appreciate that. With PAPCAR, last week we talked about prospecting, right? And trying to figure out how we go after these, new referral partners or clients, or if you're a real estate agent, how you find new listings or how you find new buyers. And, last week was really Josh Reed coming in was awesome to kind of understand where we can find these people. Social media is a great spot to find these, people on there that already, and it's a warmer connection, but having something to talk about with them before you just call up and start talking about trying to gain business.
Absolutely.
I think that was an awesome way of kind of starting off this series on the prospecting, and it actually, I don't know if you tried anything different. I tried a couple of things different with some of the prospecting with friends and things like that I haven't talked to in a while.
Yeah.
So I just reached out and, I did a little research. I ain't going to lie. I looked up on their Facebook, kind of looked at the last couple of posts, looked at the photo, and, just reaching out to say, I haven't talked to you in a while, and got just to find out about their family again. And it was really nice to have that conversation versus, feeling like I'm calling just about business.
Right. Yeah. Building the relationship as the foundation for it first. Love that.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, I'm going to, if it's all right with you, Joe, because I'm super excited about our guest today. I can't wait to get into it. Want to introduce and get her on stage with us. Is that good with you?
That's good with me.
All right. So she is a top tier mortgage loan officer at NXT Mortgage, our home, you and me both, Joe. She's currently serving on the board of directors for the Hispanic Real Estate Brokers Association. To me, that is so impressive right there. Big kudos to her. One of the top 5 LOs at our branch for 2023. She won the top mortgage professional in 2020 by the 360 West magazine. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Maria Simmons.
Hi.
Oh, and Joe, I'm going to correct you for 1 second. It's Simons.
Simons. I get used to it. I just go with the flow.
Oh, Gabby. And you know what? And I apologize. I was so focused on introducing you. We didn't get the applause in there. So let me do this again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Maria Simons. Got to throw the applause in. Welcome to the show, Maria.
Thank you for having me this morning, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Here, let's adjust this over. Let's put you where you belong, right in the center stage there.
Yeah. So, Joe, you did a great introduction about Maria, but I've known Maria for a long time, and I love working with her. And Maria, tell us a little bit, or tell our viewers a little bit just about yourself. Take just a minute, kind of brag about yourself and tell them a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I actually started in the industry in 2001. Didn't want to get into it. Didn't know about it, actually, until I took a real estate course in college. and then found that I think I like real estate, but didn't want to be a realtor, and then dove into the financing side. So love this industry, went through it, through the mortgage crisis, been through retail, and then back to broker again. Not sure if I'll go back to the retail side. And then my husband, Roland, joined me as a team in 2019. He became an LOA, and then now he's running side by side next to me as a mortgage loan officer too. So really enjoy it. Love serving families and helping realtors also grow their business.
So Maria, I got to ask, do you and Roland, do you compete against each other each month or each year of who does, how much?
No, I think in our marriage in general, just not even in the business, but also in our personal lives, I think we know when to step back and let each other shine at their moment. Yeah. Good. So I think it works well with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Maria, we're really excited to have you on, especially this week. We're talking about PAPCAR, and you know about PAPCAR. We've gone through it together through the trainings of it and our coaching. But this week, we're really focusing on, appointments. Last week we talked about the prospect, and we had Josh Reed on, and he helped people understand where they can find people to prospect. But we want to take it to the next level, right? And once you prospect, it's about setting that appointment. So kind of just wanted to find out from you, a little bit about what you do when you're talking to your prospects, about, how you set that appointment, and, kind of walk us through your thoughts about, that for us. Sorry, can't get my words out this morning.
Yeah, no. So on a client side, if I once, get the lead from a referral partner or a friend and family member, my whole thing is quickly setting up that appointment, and then also setting up expectations. So when I set that appointment, and that would either be to do an interview call with them, seeing if we can get them pre-qualified or pre-approved, in other words. And then from there, letting them know, hey, this is our next time that we're going to set up an appointment, so we can go over a loan consultation presentation based off what you are pre-approved for, or if you need like credit guidance, I'm going to provide you with an action plan. Then when it comes to a realtor partner, for example, right now, I know we're going to dive into it in just a minute, but when I'm doing classes for realtors, then I'm trying to either if we're doing a goal setting type of class, I'm trying to already, before they leave my class, hey, we're setting up an appointment because I'm going to follow up with you, and we're going to do an accountability. I'm going to be your accountability partner. So what does 2 weeks sound like for you, that we either can do a Zoom call, or, hey, I'm willing to meet you for lunch, and we'll go ahead and, set up goals or review your goals. And then the other thing too would just be with realtor partners, or ones I'm trying to gain business from, is just doing that follow up. If they've attended my class, or I met them at an open house, I'm reaching out to them by text and also phone call, just seeing how they're doing, and then also scheduling that appointment again, whether it's going to be a Zoom or lunch or coffee.
Right. So when we're prospecting, right, and we start calling all these people, the one thing that is always hard is that first initial phone call, especially if you don't know them, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of tell us your thoughts.
Cold calling.
Tell us your thoughts around cold calling and what you do maybe different to try to not have to worry about cold calling as much.
Yeah, so I'm going to be transparent. I know, like, a lot of coaching programs, and a lot of people like cold calling. I personally don't. I'm that one that will probably freeze up on the other side of the phone. I'm just a normal human person where I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's not my cup of tea. It took me a while to figure that out, being in the business for a while. So my approach really is, I rather either friend them on Facebook, start engaging with them on Facebook, take them, from online to offline, seeing how I can go ahead and schedule whether a phone call or, hey, how can I help you? Oh, I noticed that you're running into this issue. What can I do to resolve that pain point for you? So my whole thing is, I'm unfortunately going to avoid the cold calling unless it's a warm transfer, a warm introduction, right. Whether that's they've introduced me to that person, or I've met them at an event, such as realtors, or I've met them at an open house, or they've attended my class. I've never met them before, but they heard about my class.
Right. Oh, that's awesome because it kind of talks about that triangle of trust too, right?
Hmm.
There's a connection that you're making with that person.
Right.
And I think people with cold calling, it's difficult if you think of it as, you have nothing in common with people, right?
Yeah.
So I think your classes and the way that you're doing that is awesome. And by the way, we forgot to say this earlier. If any of your listeners have questions for Maria or us, please put it in the comments. So that way we can get that going. We would love to answer them. But also, Maria, with your classes, how do you getting that information from them to be able to follow up? And kind of tell us a little bit about that class, what that is, because that's a prospecting part
Yeah.
to get people there. So tell us a little bit about the class that you did
Well, I
or that you
think
do.
Well, I think for me, what I found is just kind of that struggle. I know a lot of us, the industry has changed and we had to pivot. And what I did 5 years ago or before the pandemic and during the pandemic is no longer working, right? We're in a totally different environment.
Agreed.
So I enjoy people. I love being in front of people, talking to people. So I thought, you know what? Let me provide education. And what I was trying to do was provide value. So I'm coming in at being authentic, not asking for anything. Hey, if you like me and you like what I can provide, then you're going to want to do business with me. And so my course is what I've started off with. And honestly, I started this last year, really, truly going into the fourth quarter. Should have done it sooner. So my classes are a 4 week boot camp, which consists of your mortgage essentials. We can call it, mortgage one-on-one, but that's kind of bland. Like that's not sexy, right? So we're like mortgage essentials, thanks for ChatGPT for that. So
Yeah,
mortgage
there you go.
essentials. And then we're doing safeguarding real estate transactions. What are the pitfalls that we as lenders run across? Because loan originators, we probably do a lot more transactions than realtors do. So we see a lot of those financing pitfalls. So those are things that I've put on for like week 2. We're talking about financing condo, manufactured homes, and things that we experience as loan officers that these realtors really don't see, but is providing that education. And then today, I'm having my week 3 training, and that's really going to be ATMs, actions that matter, like our day-to-day activities that can help, plant that seed and help us grow or help realtors grow, hopefully 30 to 90 days from now, and providing them that type of value, giving them like time structure, things that we loan originators do on a day-to-day basis as well. And then my fourth one is going to be on business growth. And I'm super excited because I'm having a title company come in next week. Like she came to me. So it's now come out there. We're like, hey, I'm doing these classes and I'm just promoting it on social media. She came to me. She's like, hey, Maria, how can I help you? And I'll be completely transparent. I was doing this all on my own. Roll and I were doing this all on our own. Didn't want any help. I didn't want to ask for sponsors. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. Let me see if I can handle this. She came to me. She's like, what can I do? I want to be part of this.
There
And
you go.
she's amazing. I've been following her and she has grabbed a whole bunch of like realtors from, Dallas, like big time realtors that are closing a lot. But again, I'm trying to, what I want to do with her is just form that friendship, that partnership, and then go from there. I don't expect her like, hey, give me all your realtors. That's not how I work. I don't operate that way. I want everything to be authentic and organic.
Well, it's great because you're bringing value, right, in
Mhm.
your classes, and
Yeah.
that's helping for you in building that relationship and friendship with them, right?
Right.
So that then it's all organic and it happens naturally, right? Instead of going in like we were saying before, cold calling, right?
Yeah.
Which you and I both hate, right? Uh, just cold calling and not having anything of a relationship built. You're just going in and asking for the appointments. Now it's all organic because you're adding value, building a relationship, which is part of the prospecting process to make it to where the appointment is so easy. Probably I mean, out of those that attend your classes, how many of them would you say that you've set appointments with?
Pretty much it's at least 50%
Okay,
that I've set appointments
right.
with, and and it's just continuously follow up. But there's a reason for a follow up. Like, hey, I haven't,
Yeah,
let's meet again. Well, how's the accountability? Like, I want to be accountable. I want to hold you accountable. How are you doing in your business? What can I do to help? Those
right.
things that we talked about. How can we integrate that into your business? So yeah, it's just I don't want to use the word chase, but I rather court the realtor that way versus
Mhm.
the constant calling. They don't know me like, oh my God, who she's calling again. Like, and finally they're gonna like, fine, I'm gonna pick up because I just want you to quit calling. Like I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy rejection. Who does?
Well, and as well, just to kind of divert a little bit here, because I love how you're doing these classes and seminars and stuff with realtors. But another tool that I know both you and I, Maria, use in meeting realtors and that is one of my favorites. I think yours too is open houses on the weekends, right?
Yep.
I love going to open houses on the weekends. If there's any of my realtor friends that are out there watching right now, that's probably how I met you is at an open house. I love going to these open houses, because you get to actually talk to the person, right? Instead of cold calling them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let me ask, when you go to these open houses, how do you kind of approach it with the realtors?
So here's where Roland's really good at how we are a great team. So as crazy it sounds, I am actually naturally a shy person, but you get in front of me, you talk to me, I'm going to talk your ear off, right? So approaching someone, I'm shy. So he'll come in. Now I'll tell you, we bring some sort of value, and that value would either be that realtor cheat sheet. We get that laminated and we, have that in hand so we can deliver it to them. And then we also give them like a survival goodie bag. And that survival goodie bag will have their snacks and, gum, and then a little bit of our little trinket stuff in there. So we come in there and Roland may just start the introduction talking. Then he knows this is where he's like, okay, I'm shining, but let me step back. Here's Maria. And so it's just talking to them. And like I mentioned, I've had this aha moment because I've been doing these, visiting open houses for years. And so my last open house that I visited, I realized like, wait a minute, this is like speed dating, like on steroids, right? Because, well, one, I'm bringing stuff to them, but I'm like, okay, so I'm kind of like seeing if we're going to be a good fit. Is that realtor good fit for me and Roland, or vice versa? Like I may not be a good fit for them. I might just be too bubbly and too talkative. They're like, I don't like them. And so it's kind of one of those things. It's instead of like cold calling, hey, let me take you to lunch or breakfast, it's kind of now we're interviewing each other in those open houses. And then from there, I decide that, okay, I think I want to go ahead and continue maybe fostering this relationship. Then I'm going to make that phone call the next following week, early part of like Monday or Tuesday, and just see how their open house went. And then now from there, either try to set up that appointment for lunch or coffee. If it's not immediate, I'm going to continue to foster that relationship and then also add them on Facebook.
That's good.
Yep.
That's a good follow-up, I think, as far as
Yeah.
the social media side of it, because then you can, like Joe was talking about earlier, as far as reconnecting with people that, friends, family, if you will, and looking on researching on their Facebook page or stuff, social media, to get more information so that you've got things to talk about,
Right.
in building that relationship and stuff. Yeah. Excellent follow-up with the social media.
Yeah, and I think we're talking a lot about the mortgage side of setting appointments, right? And I think from a realtor standpoint, and any realtors that are listening and want to know more through the comments, but it's the same thing when you're trying to call on these old listings, right? These expired listings that didn't sell a house is, just like you guys don't like doing cold calling. I don't mind cold calling because it just gives me a chance to talk to somebody, and that I can talk to almost anybody. But they're making these calls in that rejection part. But with the open houses, with talking to people, with your classes, kind of what are you trying to accomplish with setting an appointment? When you're making that phone call, what are some of the steps that you do just to try to set an appointment? And what is setting an appointment to you?
So setting an appointment to me it's either and it may not even just be like a coffee or lunch. It may not be face to face. It's like, hey, can I just have that conversation with you? Right. Let me have that conversation so that we can now open up a dialogue, which will eventually lead in time to working together. And I think that's the same thing too when it comes to realtors who are trying to foster a relationship as well with a potential client. That person that stopped by the open house, now they've met you face to face. I know some realtors probably don't like to do open houses, but I think that's a good way where you can showcase who you are. They can see your personality. Are you a good fit for them? Or are they going to fit you as well? And then it's following up, because then it's not a cold call. It's,
Right.
hey, you stopped by 123 Main Street and you told me about your family and what you guys are looking for. Did that house work out for you? If it didn't, guess what? I can set you up on our search, and then you can go, I'm flexible. If you are flexible, I'm flexible with time. Let's go look at houses. So then now they feel that warm and fuzzy. They've met you, because a lot of times it's building that trust. And a lot of times people don't want to do business with people because they don't know them. There's a lot of scams all the time, right? And so it's building that trust. So I think, just building or setting up that appointment is that phone call. And you may not get it right away, but continuously make effort, and then also, be intentional at the end of the day of what you're trying to do.
Good point.
Yeah. And I think with Zoom and Teams and things like that, it's easy to do face-to-face over video chats, even if it's just setting the appointment for a time and place to do that. And I think what we have too much in our industry, and also I think realtors do this too, we go, we start talking to somebody, and instead of setting an appointment to where it's a little bit more casual, you have a little bit more time to talk, and you're not feeling like you're taking time away from them. You start presenting what you can do for them. And, I think that's a big miss in what we need to do is we need to, make that time, respect that person that you're talking to and set that time in that appointment to give that a little bit more, emphasis on focus for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it comes to, and I know we already talked about your classes and stuff like that, but, you have realtors in front of you. What stops you from just presenting, hey, I'm the greatest Maria ever, what stops you from presenting that right in front of them and setting an appointment instead?
Because I think just like a lot of us, and even for realtors too, I mean, we're saturated in, in the communities. There's so many of us. And I don't want to come off like salesy. I'm going to come off as like, it's not what you can do for me. It's what I can do for you, right? It's giving. You give, then eventually 10 times fold, that's going to come back. How can I help you run your business? How can I help you find leads? How can I provide you education? Here's one of the things. And when I first had my first class, and I was kind of insecure about my first class. I'm like, oh, who wants to learn about mortgages, right? I'm like, no, it's so boring. Like, no one wants to hear about that. But after my first class was done, these realtors started coming up to me and they said, oh my gosh, this information is valuable. Do you know how many times that we get a potential client or a lead that they just start asking us like mortgage information? And it's not about interest rate, nothing like that. And then they said that when they don't know the answer to it, it could be just a general question. They don't know the answer. They're like, oh, well, let me pass you on to my mortgage lender. Now, these are people that I have not worked with in the past. They're like, they lose that lead. And it's not because of they didn't contact the lender didn't do their part. It's like that person got scared. And so now it's like these people come to us and we can't even answer like a general mortgage question. Now we lose that lead. And do you know, it might have been like 8 realtors who told me that. So that's when I said, okay, I have to provide them more value. And how can that transpire into their potential leads and their clients so that they can feel confident to answer those questions? Again, it doesn't have to be rate or program, but it's just general questions.
Right.
I think that's such a great point, Maria, that and realtors, if you're listening in, please drop comments of what your thoughts are with what Maria is talking about, because I agree that people clients don't want to be handed off, right? They're talking to you, the realtor, and they've got questions. And granted, you're not going to have all the answers, but if you can have the basic tools in that to be able to answer some of them, or I'll get back to you. I'm gonna find the answer and instead of passing them off, because I think so many clients are probably lost. They don't want that. They don't want to be passed off on to somebody else, right? They want to talk to that one person that they're in front of right now.
Right. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but this is how I feel. I feel at the end of the day, they're scared and they're nervous and they don't want to talk to us loan officers. They want to talk to the realtors. That's the fun part, the home search. So already they're coming in guarded. And the moment you're just like, well, let me refer you to my go-to lender. Now, like you said, they feel passed on, and now they already can't, they're coming across discouraged. Now they're even more discouraged. So I think providing these tools, just some sort of foundation where they can answer it, be confident, and again, not go into programs, not go into rates,
Right.
but where they
Right.
can now basically foster that or nurture that lead that they got.
Right. Because that's going to help them in setting those appointments with
Yep.
their clients.
There you go.
Right. Because that's what we're really talking about here today, right? Is setting the appointment. So if they have the basics, like you're saying, because let's face it, clients aren't going to get into as far as, well, what's the DTI for an FHA loan when you're doing a renovation? I mean, they're not going to get into that. They don't know that, right?
Yeah.
That's our job, right, as LOs. But to be able to have the basic understanding, I think is really going to help them. So what you're doing, Maria, I think is fantastic with these seminars with realtors and helping to educate them. You said it's a 4-part boot camp, or was it 6-part?
Yeah, it's 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
So yeah, 4 weeks. And then, I'll have some that will attend all 4 weeks, but people's schedule, it is what it is. And then some, like I have one coming in today. She couldn't make it last week. So I'll have people that'll just kind of pop in. And then I have another, I was really honestly just trying to do this once a quarter because it can be a lot. But another title company, not the one that's coming in with me next week, but a title company reached out, and I'm going to join them. I'll be in their office 4 weeks straight in the month of February. So I'm actually booked out every Wednesday up until the end of February.
Oh, that's awesome. So if realtors down in the Arlington, Mansfield area are listening right now, or listen to this later on, where can they find information about the classes that you're doing if they are interested in coming? That way we can promote you and get more people into your classes. I know you probably don't need the help, but I want you to promote yourself. But where can they go? Where can they see this information to be able to get to one of your classes?
So I do promote it on my Facebook. So my Facebook is just Maria Simons, and it's public. And then also you can email me as well or contact me. My email is msimons@umortgage.com. Then my phone number, you can call or text, is 817-773-2138 if you're interested. We have the one next week is going to be pretty cool. They're going to talk about reels, hooks, and how to get like your social media going. I mean, that's a big thing right now, right? So you don't want to be the secret realtor, the secret loan officer. You want to be out there.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Well, Maria, thank you so much for coming on today. Really appreciate you spending the time with us and giving all this knowledge and wisdom to our listeners out there. Hopefully all of you were able to kind of take it in. And if being this is the second episode of our 6-part episode, if you missed the first one, you can always go to our YouTube channel where they're all sitting there and you can review them, or come, and if you jumped in halfway on or something, more welcome to go to the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, to be able to listen to the repeat of this. Next week we're going to continue this on, dive even deeper and go to the 3rd step of PAPCAR, the one that we all love to do actually, which is present. Unfortunately, though, I think all 3 of us here can probably agree that sometimes we want to do the present first instead of the first 2 of prospecting and appointments. But prospecting, appointments, and then the 3rd step as far as present. So we're going to dive into that next week. So stay tuned for that. Again, we're here every Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock Central Time. Joe, before we close out anything you got to, I do want to say, please, folks, I appreciate you so much, Joe and I do, for tuning in, listening in. Please subscribe, like, share, especially on our YouTube channel. Joe, any last thoughts, any last words, advice, anything for everybody?
So next week, we do have a guest coming on. His name is one of our leaders in the branch too. He's one of the great sales loan originators that I've known for a long time. But he's coming on. So if you're if you're interested into what a presentation looks like next week, it's going to be awesome. Nash Paradise is going to be joining us and going over his presentations and how he, does that information. So I'm looking forward to it. And then we possibly have a realtor and waiting for just that one last. Yes, they're going to be on here to show us some of the presentations that they do when it comes to clients. So we might have a 2-guester next week. We'll see.
Double guest.
We'll see.
Wow.
So.
What a great show that's going to be. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, again, Maria, thank you for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. I'm Joe Mortgage, and that handsome guy over there is my co-host, Mr. Cup of Joe Mortgage, and we'll see you all next week.
Mr.